Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern Time, which means it is time for Logical Wellness with Camille Jones of CEJ Images. That is me. Thank you for joining this evening for you all, this afternoon for me. I am joining you from the Big Island in Hawaii. And if you are following me on IG at CEJ Images, you can come to Hawaii with me for a minute. It's that time to have those tough conversations. But the idea in all of this is just to open up third eye. So join us everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, IG, Twitch. Although y'all know how I feel about IG. IG's petty, YouTube's worse. And apparently the information that I'm giving y'all is too important for y'all to have. So they want to block me everywhere. So make sure you tell everybody you know. If you want to open up third eye, then follow Camille at CEJ Images across all social media. Those of you who are following me on IG, we're in Hawaii. I decided to make sure y'all can see behind me. You can hear the birds. There are a couple little birds off the hotel room taking their little baths. Hopefully the surf's not too loud. Just wanted to make sure y'all know, as much as I miss y'all, I don't miss y'all. Hawaii is, and I have been to Hawaii a number of times, but Hawaii is definitely a place spiritually that if you're trying to reground, get grounded, you need to come. I mean, last night we went to the active volcano, and to stand on top of a do you know a volcano is like the start of life? An active volcano is forming islands that people are going to live on thousands of years from now. We flew over the islands of Maui, and there is something so spiritually strong about volcanic rock and lava stone. You all have to look up what those things mean. I say all that to tell you that y'all know my husband and I are looking. We are definitely looking, and Hawaii is one of the spots we're going to have a house if we don't live on. So, you know, do I have on my bathing suit? Yes, I do, because I left the beach to come here, and I'm going right back to the beach after I'm done. So I figured in the instance, y'all can join me in Hawaii for a little second. So there are two things specifically that I want to talk about this week. One I heard kind of off in the background. So if I misquote, or if people know more about what I'm getting ready to refer to, then please go ahead, put it in the comments, let me know. And if we get to both today, we can get to both. If not, then I'll do the second one another time. So again, y'all remember, every Wednesday, what do I tell you? I am not here to give you medical advice. That is not what I am doing for you. I am simply allowing you to have pieces of information that you take and make your own decisions from, hopefully in a way that's going to be beneficial to you and your family. So, you know, I don't watch TV. I don't watch the news. I have no idea what's going on in America, and I really don't care. That you all have to get to. So many of y'all leave things in your spirit that they never leave your reality. If they live in here, if you're constantly feeding this, then it's going to live here. So yeah, I have no clue what's going on. It doesn't make one bit of difference to me. So let me tell you what I heard the other day, because it happened to be on TV before we were going to the beach. And the Tamron Hall show was on. And there was this quick little segment that I was listening to that I said, you know, that sounds weird, but it's unfortunately a general way of thinking for a lot of people, particularly a lot of people in the United States. So Tamron Hall was on, and she was talking to, I guess, a mother. A mother had called in to the show and said that her school-age son had started having headaches and vertigo. And she had taken him to the doctor, and the doctor said, yeah, you know, it's from wearing masks all day. It's from wearing masks in school and not being able to breathe. And it's giving these kids, you know, headaches and vertigo. And if you remember what I said some months ago about what was going to happen when people started wearing masks all the time, you know where I'm about to go with this. So she called in and she said to Tamron that her doctor said that it was because of the masks. And then Tamron said to her, well, you know, There haven't been long-term studies to show whether or not masks are really detrimental. Hello, Tamron. That's because we haven't done this before, genius. So if I'm not quoting what Tamron was disagreeing with, then somebody let me know that. But from the conversation she had with the woman, she was saying that she didn't agree with the mother because there hadn't been any of these long studies of the effects of masks on people, particularly children, school-age children. So understand this, y'all. You do know that there is a study going on right now. However, we are the rats in the study. For people to say, well, there aren't any long-term studies about what this vax is going to do or about what these masks are going to do, because this is the first time we're doing it. This is the trial run. This is the test. What we are experiencing is what they're going to maybe put into the VAERS report, in this adverse reporting. I say that because I need you all to stop allowing your doctors to tell you, no, your side effect is not from the vax. Your side from the shot, because it's not even a vax. Your side effects are not from the vax. If you know that you were sans or absent symptoms before the shot and after the shot, all of a sudden, these things came into your body. It is not all of a sudden. There are significant reactions to this shot that people like me and physicians and other hospitals are actually seeing, but our reporting does not get included into the narrative. Understand, is Camille saying there is no pandemic? I am not. However, what we are hearing about this pandemic is a narrative that is being created by censoring, i.e. me and a bunch of other holistic people, i.e. paying hospitals 20% more for virus diagnoses instead of others, and censoring of doctors who are trying to give us the right information that the government doesn't want us to have. Remember, doctors are run by the government too, even though they may have their own practice, even though they may have, their own ways of treating their patients, they are required to act as the American Medical Association tells them to act. And that is mostly controlled by lobbyists, the AMA, and their politics. I am not saying don't go to a doctor, don't listen to one, don't change what you think is right for you. What I'm saying is connect the dots. If you know something is new, let them know that that thing is new. You do not let them talk you out of what you already know to be a fact. And then let's go to logic, right? We always go to logic because it's logical wellness time, right? So let's go to logic. When we talk about masks, okay, you cannot tell me, you may believe this, but you cannot tell Camille Jones that masks do not cause long-term illness and disease. And we're going to go straight through this in a minute because I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, right? So remember, we're talking about a mask. We're talking about a mask that they tell you to what? Wear over your nose and your mouth. So let's go lymphatic wise, right? Let's take our masks, right? You see my mask? I love the Grinch. I hate wearing these damn things. So if I'm putting a mask over my nose and mouth, this is what I look like, right? That's it. That's nose and mouth. So what are the only two things that are left? Your eyes and your ears. When you want to shut a dog up, what do? You put a muzzle on them, right? These masks are like muzzles on us. What does a dog do when you put a muzzle on? Or most of them, they shut up, right? When you want them to be quiet and stop talking and not socialize or be around or be affected by other dogs, what do? You muzzle them. What do if you don't want people to talk to each other, to smile, to emote, to talk, to discuss, to share information? You muzzle them. You cover their mouths so that they're one of their most incredible senses, their powers, is gone, right? What do people who have to wear masks do most of the day? They're as quiet as they can be, right? So we're muzzling sound, but then there's something else more important that we're going to go to in a minute. But even more important from talking, remember, information is mostly shared correctly from person to person. Somebody has experienced it, they've done it, they've created it, they've showed the next person how to do it. And how do you do that? You do that by teaching, you do that by talking. You cannot continue to share the same amount of information at the same speed if you have a global population of people who have closed mouths. Okay? Closed mouths. Closed mouths don't get fed. We're not eating as regularly. We are not drinking as much water. We are not exhaling. So let's talk about the exhale part. We've discussed on many shows, right, that one of the greatest ways that your body detoxes is through exhalation. 84% of our body fat is breathed out. It's breathed out. 16% comes from urine, feces, and sweat and tears. But the main way that we detox all the toxins in our bodies is by breathing out. So the body knows what shouldn't be in it. So the body's going to pull all that stuff through the lymphs and it's going to get it out somehow. Most of that is coming through breathing. Okay. Toxins out back through the lymphs and out. Okay. Or it'll come out in the other ways. But particularly we're talking about the mouth. So the mouth is now covered, which what? Cuts down on how much we talk, how much we connect, how much we emote. Most of the way we used to communicate was through nonverbal communication, mostly in the face. Smiling is one of the greatest ways to affect a positive reaction from somebody, but we can't even smile. And if you are smiling, you're smiling behind a freaking mask. Yeah. So you're not eating regularly. You're not talking regularly. You're not breathing out regularly. Oh, let's talk about the people who are in the gyms and they are breathing out. They're breathing out heavily into a mask. All of those particles while you are working are sitting in there for you to inhale back up, not only now through your mouth, but through your nose too. And because there's a funnel now it's going into your eyes, right? So even if you wear a mask 8 hours a day and you're like, you know what, I go home and I'm okay, nothing's happening to me. And so you think, remember, by the time we get to 40, the things that we experience as symptoms oftentimes have been building the majority of our lives. So you may not find out what your mask is doing to you until 3 to 5 years later. But I will tell you this, it is prohibiting you from detoxing. Period. Whatever comes on the outside of that is problematic. But know this, there is no doctor, unless they sit and flat out lie to you, which happens often. There's no way that you can even get a doctor to deny that breathing out is not effective. Otherwise, why would they tell us to exercise? What does building the muscle and exercising and running do? It stimulates the lymphs to make you breathe harder. It stimulates that lymphatic function to pull the toxins that your body knows it does not want and does not need. So you cannot. It makes absolutely no sense to tell people that covering one of the most important orifices in your body is not going to be detrimental to them at some point in their life. I don't care if we're talking right now, tomorrow, today, 6 months from now, 5 years. A lot of the problems I see in my clients have come from problems that they had 10 to 20 years earlier. Now we're just making it a problem. So we've got this eating, we've got drinking, we've got breathing out, we've got talking, we've got, how about this? Did you all know that the mouth this really should be said first, but I assume people know this, but a lot of people don't. Your mouth has more bacteria than any other place in your body, including your genitals. Did you hear what I said? You can Google that if you want to. That's common knowledge. There is more bacteria in the mouth, tongue, and in the teeth than anywhere else in your body. Yet you're going to tell people, I want you to cover that dirty sack. I want you to cover that blowhole with everything in it that at one point has to be filtered out of your body. I don't want you to filter it. I want you to cover it up, and I want you to breathe and suck that stuff in all day, every day. But guess what? Nothing's going to happen to you. If any of you do not believe me or want to have a longer conversation about that, let's do that. DM me and tell me what about that makes sense to you. Because if it does, that's one of the things that I will be willing to sit down and show you that it doesn't. So we're talking first about the mouth, right? Okay, so let's go to the bigger problem. Let's go to the much bigger problem than the mouth. And, you know, the mouth is a huge problem. It is huge. And I want all of y'all to take time at some point to pay attention to yourself. I want you, right, when you put your mask on, I want you to be still for 30 seconds. And I just want you to listen and pay attention to your heart rate. I want you to pay attention to your breathing rate, your circadian rhythm. I want you to pay attention to what happens to that regulation when you put a mask on your face. Part of our problem is that we're so complacent to be told what to do until it's a problem, right? That we don't use our own smarts to connect the dots. And now I'm going to take you to why that's the case, right? Now I'm going to take you to why that's the case. Let's talk about what else is covered when they tell you to put a mask over your nose and your mouth, okay? Because, y'all, we do have hairs in the nasal cavity, yeah? So even a virus that they claim can be sent back out the nose once it's caught in the hairs, unless you're standing in somebody's face and covering a nostril and shooting your snot at that person, do you know what your chances are for passing a virus from your nose to another person? Doesn't even make sense. That's on the stupidity scale, right? It's logic. Listen, everything about the body is logical. Do not let me tell you that the body isn't a logical system. Otherwise, the body wouldn't be made of systems. The body is made of systems that Western medicine and old school allopathic medicine has called this system, this system, this system, this system. Okay, so you guys have called them systems, but they don't act like systems? Or you call them systems, but they're not supposed to act like systems? I'm not understanding. What are we supposed to believe, that it is a system or it isn't? Because a system is logical. A system is logical. If the body is comprised of multiple systems, then the body is logical. And that's all there is to it. That's it. That's all. It is one unit that is comprised of systems that is meant to work systematically in its systems. So let's talk about what's more important than the mouth. And this should pretty much worry a lot of you that think that it's okay for you to wear this muzzle all day, because that's what they're doing, right? They're censoring us on social media. They're taking away our First Amendment rights. We no longer have a choice to even have our own opinions. And if we do, we can't say it. And then they're muzzling us physically in the street so that we stop talking to each other. There is nothing stronger and more powerful than the human spirit, than the collective human spirit. We are all the same collective universal energy that was created from the type of volcanic rock that I am sitting on right now. That does not break. Unless it doesn't break, it can't. However, what they can do is bend it so that this collective no longer moves in a straight line. But it is the same. We are all the same species. Human species. Color don't mean nothing when it comes to healing Do not let them tell you that it does, right? Because there is not a black human species or a white human species. Race is a characteristic of a species. We're the same species, y'all, and you better get it, because if you don't, they are taking you out by the day. They are killing thousands of us, and most of us are walking to it because we're scared. All we have to do is reconnect to the logic, and they can't take that away from you. They can't. The brain controls the body, and that is something that you can never, ever, 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 ever take away. Ever. I don't care who you are. The brain controls the body. There's one brain, there's one body, and that body does not have its own separate brain. It has to do with what's in here. Okay? Now, let's talk about that, because that's a big freaking deal. So when they tell you to put that mask on, and they tell you to put that mask over your nose and mouth, where does the top of this mask sit? It sits right here, right at third eye. So we will get a little metaphysical and a lot biological and a lot logical when we're talking about this. Because when we do, there's no way that you're going to be able to say that wearing masks all day does not damage, okay, the brain. And this is why kids are getting headaches, because we'll go into what headaches and vertigo are, because they have the same origin and cause. Yeah. In holistic modalities, we're always talking about the origin, the cause. What is the cause of the symptom that the body is expressing? This, how many times do I have to remind us all what this is? Metaphysically, we all know that it's what? Third eye chakra. It is the life force of the body. So if you're not into the universal metaphysical side, fine, don't worry about that. However, biologically, third eye is the intersection of the three most important oxygen filters in your body. If this doesn't work, the body doesn't breathe, and you have no cellular function. So when you are placing something on top of the skin, anything, I don't care if it's a mask, I don't care if it's your finger, I don't care if it's clothes, I don't care what it is. Anything pressed against a body that is fluid-based, because we are fluid-based, remember? Anything that is pressed against the body for long periods of time without a counteraction, like a massage or a stretch or a frequency bounce, something, that stagnation with that thing on the skin signals trauma to the body and the brain. When the lymphs get signaled that there's trauma, what do? They get their antibodies together and they're like, uh-oh, let's send some fluid with the antibodies in it to the place of the problem so that the fluid can heal itself, which is what the body uses to heal itself, is the natural balance of fluid and minerals in it. But that same system is then supposed to go back and pick up that fluid to get rid of it after it has completed its function. But if you have a mask on your face for the majority of the day and part of the night, most times, if you're going out to eat or drink, then there is no way for that excess fluid to be removed. So after that settles in the tissues for a while, then the body says, ooh, crap, now there's more. Now we've got even more toxin and inflammation that needs to be fixed. And here comes the snowball. The body keeps filling itself with fluid at the trauma sites while it's waiting for enough oxygen and minerals to then stimulate it to remove the healing fluid from each place. But if there isn't enough of that, on top of the fact that there's still trauma in these masks, where do y'all think that fluid is going to go? When you lay down and go to sleep at night, where the body does most of its detox while we're sleeping, right? You're going to lay down, and that fluid is going to go across the sinus cavities, into the cavities up in the head, down at the occipital lobe, onto the top of the neck, behind the ears, in the jowls. It's going to settle, because once it settles, it's then inflamed. It's inflammation, yeah? And when there is inflammation in a body that beats with frequency in blood and fluid, what do you get? A headache. Or what else can you get? Brain fog. Or what else can you get? Memory loss. Or what else can you get? Vertigo. Because there's too much fluid in the brain, and the brain literally does this in the head, right? Because there's not that regular flow of oxygen and fluid removal. So if she was trying to disagree with that woman who said, my child is having headaches and vertigo from wearing masks at school, I don't understand that disagreement. There aren't going to be any tests. We are the tests. And if we keep allowing them, meaning our so-called government, if we keep allowing them to dictate, right, to dictate what side effects are, as opposed to standing together and letting them know, nope, this is exactly what it is, then we're going to be in the same issue over and over and over and over and over. And that's where their control comes. So anybody, waiters, waitresses, people who work at work all day, you have got to come home and do a very significant amount of what's called lymphatic frequency detox in your body and in your head for your body to continue to function at the rate it needs to. So there's a difference between kids wearing masks in Hawaii and kids wearing masks in industrialized mainland US. We don't have an ocean or a beautiful Pacific, Atlantic, no ocean, no sea that is cleaning out all of the toxins from our construction, our cars, our littering. So is there damage in Hawaii? Yes. Is it going to be as significant where I'm from? No, it's not. So we have to do what is always called balance. When the body is balanced, the body can't get ill. That's what homeostasis, that's what wellness is, that's what pH balance is. But there are multiple things that people need to do to create that balance. It includes what you eat, what you drink, how you sleep, your stress levels, what you eat, how you exercise, how you travel, how many kids you have, where exactly do you live? Do you live in a condo? Do you live in a house? What other kinds of air issues do you have in your home? Do you take care of, an elderly person? There are so many things that we have got to unplug from, so that we are not controlled by this. So this is the other thing I was going into. So when we put these masks on, right, we're covering up third eye, which at its instant, as soon as we put that on the face, the body knows what should and shouldn't be there. As soon as it goes on there, y'all, it starts to become a vulnerable place that the lymphs are looking at, right? They're paying attention to that. Once that stagnation in that area extends in time, then that place then begins to swell. And what is very important about water, and this is one of the things that I was looking at in Hawaii. So water is amazing. Mother Nature is one of the most unbelievable things ever, and it could never, ever be recreated nor fully understood by man at all, ever. We flew over the 5 islands of Maui, and you're looking from above at these massive, massive islands of volcanic rock. But all you're really looking at is the tops of these massive volcanoes that are hundreds of times bigger below the surface of the sea. And when you think about that, when you think about nature in those terms, and you think about water, most of this planet is water. Water is the strongest thing on earth. We are made of the same water that the ocean is, that sodium chloride. When you think about what a tsunami will do, what does a tsunami do, right? Tsunami comes up above sea level and then takes out a whole city, county, whatever it needs, country, doesn't matter. And it can do it in an instant, right? So if we're made of that same sodium chloride water, the water that's moving in our bodies, you don't think is going to push us and pull us and elongate us and restructure us? Of course it is, right? When we look at people and we talk about aging, what is aging? It doesn't have to do with the cells, right? Because the cells, when they're healthy or when they're well, will turn over regularly, right? The body does not keep anything dead in it. It will get rid of what it needs to get rid of, okay? The cells don't die till we die. Yeah, so, which is why they keep turning over. When we're looking at what ages people and we're looking at wrinkles in skin, those wrinkles are created by stagnant fluid that sits in the tissues and causes either an elongation or a spreading wide of the face, which then the body follows. Yeah, which is why Camille keeps saying fat starts in the face, not in the body, right? So if we are inflamed at the one place that air is supposed to be filtered into some water, which carries oxygen to the body. Yeah. If there's a stagnation here from the break, y'all, you've already got cellular vulnerability. That means that the amount of oxygen your body needs to do its regular flush can't do it because a lot of it's going to get stuck here. So you might have some sticking here and people get deviated septums. That's what a deviated septum is. It is calcified, inflammatory mucus and fluid that sticks and then grows and deviates, right? We all have it because we live in the States. That fluid then will begin to sit in other pockets as it can't move through the filters, through the trash cans, and then into the body. So when you cover third eye, you are essentially stagnating emotions, physical mobility. People get tired. They have headaches. They can't get rid of their excess weight. Children get angry. Emotions sit behind the occipital lobe, that is the main place that gets inflamed if your filters behind the ears are what I call dirty or they're full. That controls actions, emotions, which is why this is called third eye. When you open and clean this, it is literal, figurative, and all in the same thing. This one place controls body, mind, spirit, emotions. It controls everything because everything is cellular function. Cells need to breathe. So when you are requiring that these kids who aren't even fully grown in their organ function, in their cellular function, you are stagnating everything about their growth, including their mental faculties, by cutting off the amount of oxygen needed for cellular function. People sometimes say, well, Camille, when I wear a mask, I can breathe. Okay, so? But do you sleep well? Can you function? Are you forgetful? Do you have headaches? Are you photosensitive? Can you not go out in the sun? There are so many other things that tell you that you have oxygen deprivation that are outside of actually breathing. And that function is everything. Some people have said, well, my blood pressure is a little bit higher. That's not a little thing. That's not a little thing. If you're wearing masks and your blood pressure is changing, that is a problem. And you have got to balance out your life enough to stimulate oxygen. Do I have the same problems everybody else does? Yeah. Well, maybe not, because I don't have to wear masks in my business, right? Because it's mine. So this whole idea about passing this virus and wearing masks and what these masks actually do. Please do not get it in your head that these masks are actually helping you. Does it slightly slow down the spread of whatever they call this? Maybe. But the only way for us to get over it is to know how to balance the body so the body doesn't get sick. We can't pass a virus that we can't get. You can't get a virus if your body is well. But you can't be on meds, not exercise, eat shit, drink alcohol, not travel, watch TV all day, and expect that your body is going to get to a state where you can fix or protect yourself against a virus. I don't care what it is, a cold, it doesn't matter. So here's the other problem with these masks, right? Remember what I said. Third eye controls everything. So if this is covered, what are the only two things that are now easily accessible for frequencies to come in? The eyes and the ears. Controlled by TV and what you watch on TV and what you listen to on social media or what you watch on social media, those are the only things that seem to be available for our frequency unless you choose differently. So I say that to say, if you cover up senses in your face and in your body, what happens to the other senses that you have access to? They become stronger or more vulnerable. If these are covered, that means that this and this are taking in a lot more than they would if we had the balance of that stuff coming back out, which makes all of that narrative and crap that they are telling y'all on TV, that becomes what's real for you, because the only thing that you have access to is this and this. But know this. No, let's go talk and have a conversation with somebody who disagrees with me, and let's find out what we can come to an agreement on. You are being completely controlled by what goes in here and what you are listening to. So you, as an individual, have got to make very specific decisions about what you allow yourself to be in, around, who you talk to, who you spend time with, especially in this space of divisiveness. Why do you think that they allowed Crazy Boy to create the divisiveness that was created when he was in office? Because there was no way that they can make the narrative of this pandemic without the divisiveness already there. Y'all, people are splitting with their families over this stupid ass shot. And it is a shot. It is not a vaccine. I need all of you who have been vaccinated to stop going to other people and saying, I've been vaccinated. No, you haven't. You've gotten 2 shots. And according to the people that you listen to, you may need 8, 9, 10, 12 more. Who knows? They don't, because you're the ones that they're getting all of their data from to then make further decisions. When I say that the only way for us to live in the natural way that we were created was to do it, that includes eating a raw diet. Okay? Do I eat a raw diet? Nope. And certainly not on vacation. So no, I don't. However, remember what I said about balance. Anything outside of a raw diet, if you're not going to eat a raw diet, you then have to balance with everything else that you do in your life. So raw diet is one. Minimum gallon of water is another. Remember, if the body's not getting oxygen, then you need to quadruple your water. And we are not getting oxygen in our air anymore. We are getting toxic molecules that are so big we can't even breathe through them. Okay? So if you are not going to eat a raw diet, you're not going to drink your water, those 2 things right there, you can pretty much forget that your body is ever going to get to a state of wellness. Your body cannot get to that perfect state if it's not getting the minerals it needs, the oxygen, and the water that it needs. You also need to exercise. And when I say exercise, I mean every day. I don't care if it's 5 minutes jumping up and down or 20 jumping jacks or some sort of stretching We have got to elongate the muscles in the body. We have got to elongate the body because remember, the lymph system is most fully functional when we are standing up or when we are lying flat. Okay. So you have got to take different parts of this. None of us live in a utopia. None of us live in Hawaii, although that may be us sooner than we think. So we in the mainland US have a lot worsening breathing problems than they do in Hawaii. Hawaii is full of the Pacific Ocean, salt air, salt ocean, a clean sun, green mountains, palm trees, trees everywhere, green everything. So their issues are going to be different than what we've got mainland. Those of us who live mainland, I don't know if I can express how dire the times we are in. But it's like, if you think like worsening times, like some of you are like end of time stuff. I mean, yeah, I agree. These kids now are being forced. Not only are they being forced to wear the masks, I just saw California mandated all school age children get the vaccine. So you're giving them a vaccine and you're giving them a mask. Yet you have no idea how their little bodies actually work. And really, you don't care. Yeah, you don't care. So is it time to pull kids out of school? Yep, I would. Is it time to possibly quit your job? Yep, I would. Because any employer who forces you to take an experimental shot, yet they are waived liability along with the manufacturers, don't give two rats' tails about you and would replace you in 30 seconds. In 30 seconds. So for me, I can't enjoy my money if I don't know what my health is going to do. I mean, and how much, we talked about this last week, how much do we actually need? Coming to islands and traveling and finding out how easy it is to live without stuff, that's a US thing. That's us who thinks that we need to have this much money and this many cars and this much stuff. People ask all the time how my husband and I travel like we do. We work to travel. Most people work for stuff, a car, a house, clothes you're not going to wear. And if you're working from home now, you haven't worn your closet in over 2 years. You have to get your priorities together, one, for your life, but two, for your state of wellness. You can't be at a job that has now forced you to take something that your brain, remember we're talking about the brain, that your brain has already said isn't good for you and is going to do some damage to you. So you've allowed them to now shoot you with that. You're scared about it. You're uncomfortable. And you have no idea. You're unsure of what's going to happen in your future. You have taken 3 of the biggest tickers in the brain and given that to your body. 3 most things that make you most vulnerable, you have now allowed your employer, who gives 2 rats' tails about you, control over that. And you can't. What is more important to you? Is your life or your quality of life less important than a paycheck? And everybody's like, Camille, yeah, but I got to work in the US. Listen, we were not made, right? We were not made to live the way we're programmed to think that we are supposed to live. That's why my husband and I travel a lot. We rode in the mountains last night, and they had these little communities where each person in the community had their specific gift that they were selling, either fruit or breads, or there was seamstress. Those types of community takes care of community is really the way we as humans we're supposed to live. We are now programmed to think that we got to be crabs in a barrel and get to the top of a barrel that we probably wouldn't even need for most of our life. So you have to sit as a person and decide what is crucial for you. Where are you in your lifespan at work? Everybody has a gift. Everybody was put here for a purpose, but we're programmed out of that purpose. The number of businesses that were started during a pandemic is absolutely fantastic and at levels they haven't seen in decades. So there's nothing out there that says you can't do it. You just won't, right? All you got to do is put a plan together. Okay, if I leave my job, this is what I need. But really, what do I need? What can I survive on that's going to allow me to have a stress-free life where I don't have to put my health and my future in jeopardy? What would I need to do to actually do it? But again, people are too scared to do what our creator has already given you. That's humans, y'all, who are telling us that we need to pay attention and compare ourselves to the next person or the next person or people in our families. For what? Those people aren't living your life. You're living your life. You're going to give your complete power of your world and your circle and your life to people who don't care. For what? Why is that fun? That is not fun. That is not a life that I think any of us truly actually want to live. Why is everybody else's possession or what they do more important than what we could actually do for ourselves? Half of y'all can't get a trip together because you're too busy watching everybody else's trips on social media, which probably aren't freaking true in the first place. That we are being programmed out of a natural world, out of a natural lifestyle. And you cannot tell me that this push for mandated shots is about your health. You cannot tell me that they are now forcing people who have already had the virus to now get a shot which doesn't do what your body has already done. If you had COVID and you lived, that's proof that you had the antibodies. It is stupid as hell to tell people that have had COVID that they need a shot. It doesn't make sense. So you have to understand how your body works itself out, because the body will always work itself out, and it will do it better and faster if you give it the ammunition that it needs: water, oxygen, minerals, exercise, stress-free, everything. Most of y'all should have left your job a long time ago. Most of y'all should have left your job a long time ago, because it's your job that's creating your systemic issues. You just don't know it. You pull yourself away from that instead of actually seeing what it is for what it is. I mean, look at the millennials and younger who sit home and make money off of crypto and stocks all day. One of the greatest things about this pandemic for me, holy moly, I have made a crap load of money sitting at home, doing crypto, doing stocks. One thing that social media is good for is teaching us stuff. So instead of spending your time watching this person or the crazy Kardashians or whoever the hell you want to watch, instead of watching them, how about you watch some of the educational videos that will enable you to walk away from your job like that? Don't believe me? Try it. You got time. Most of y'all are working from home. And those of you that aren't, you're at work with masks on all day. So people can't tell me, Camille, I can't leave because I can't do this because. No, you won't do it because you're choosing not to do it. You are complacent where you are. You are complacent in your illness. It is staggering how many people are complacent with staying on a blood pressure medicine for the rest of their lives instead of changing or dropping out some of the things that they eat. That is staggering to me. And you all have now become victim slaves to it, right? You are now in this space where you have allowed your body to intake so many toxins. It's going to be a long road for you anyway, even if you come out and do what you need to do. So what I want people to understand is use this technology to your benefit. Technology will never heal nature, ever, y'all, ever. And we are natural. We are from nature. There is nothing that we've created in technology that has saved nature. And anybody can fight me on that. Does technology make it easier for humans to do stuff? Sure. But does it save trees? Nope. Is it saving our oceans? Nope. Is it saving our kids who come out full of mucus that they call ADD and ADHD and autism and all other types of stuff? No. Technology can never heal nature. It is impossible. Technology, including drugs, cannot heal you. Only nature can heal you. Your nature, good for you, starts on the inside. So why you keep running to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's got MD behind their name to ask them their opinion, because you know that's what they're giving you. They're giving your opinion because they don't know you, right? You do. Am I saying they can't direct you? Not at all. However, what I'm saying is what is good for you is good for you, and not people in charts or these people over here. There is no Camille Jones on this earth but me. There is no you but you. My healing modalities are not going to be the same for you. My healing modalities are going to be the ones that my body tells me I need. But you got to slow down and listen to it first. But if your brain is all drugged up, first of all, you ain't thinking logically anyway. So you don't know what your body is saying to you. Again, my thought about this mRNA technology. Remember, technology cannot heal nature. That system that I was just telling you that can tell you what your healing regimen should be is now being changed because you got the shot. And you don't know what that technology is telling your cells to do. In fact, guess what? Neither do they. And they've said that. They don't know what it's going to do. They don't know which cells it's going to infect. They don't know which systems it's going to infect. They did no genotoxicity studies, and that comes from the doctor who created it. So genotoxicity studies would tell you what this shot is going to do to you. However, they didn't do any studies because y'all are now the studies. I don't want to take that risk for me. I absolutely don't. My future, I would best like to hold on to by myself, right? And not give it to a mass manufacturing drug company. And we call them drug companies, do we not? Pharmaceutical drug companies. Again, the government is brilliant at this double talk. Food and Drug, FDA, Food and Drug Administration, big pharmaceutical drug companies. So it's there, but we don't listen. I don't understand why we don't listen or why we don't look. You know why? Because third eye is full of crap. There is no processing here. There is no, this is all muddled. It's mud. And then they make us wear masks all day. And then we go home and watch what? The news? What on the news makes you happy? And I saw this great question the other day that I'm going to send y'all home with in a minute. And I thought it was fantastic. And I think all of you all should think about this for you. Think about this for your families. Think about people who have not received the shot yet and those that have. And it was brilliant. It was a very easy question. The question was this: can you please tell me your most beneficial ingredient in the shot and tell me how that benefits your body? That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the only thing you need to ask yourself. Anybody that happens to try to argue with you about the shot, anybody, tell me the best ingredient in the vax and how it benefits your body. You cannot say it because there isn't one. There isn't one. It's logic. The fact that we are fighting so much about this is proof that we've long been brain dead. We didn't know it, right? We've long been controlled. And the last president was put there to create what we are now sitting in, where we would literally leave our families for fear of things that don't make sense. And I don't get it. So I want y'all to remember those questions, remember those balance, remember your focus. What is your focus? Is your focus living the robot life, going to work, being injected? Go watch iRobot. That's not something that you want to be, but that's what you're being. Is that what you want to live? Or do you want to have a life where you can be so free in the mind that you're happy all the time and you laugh and you travel and you're only surrounded by love and light? You make the decision on what your life is going to be like. The minute you keep giving it away is a problem. It is a problem, and you can forget the rest right now. If you keep going down this path, y'all, won't happen for you. Chit Chat Radio Love. Love y'all. Thank you, Twitch. I'll see you next week.